Alright, this is the next video in the data entry website creation. Before we move on to looking at the primary key and the foreign key and different inputs and that sort of stuff, several students have asked about changing the actual look of the website. It's pretty plain, black and white. They want to know how to change font colors and things like that. Eventually we want to lead to doing this in CSS, so I don't want to just change simple things in HTML. I'd rather try and start by doing it the right way. So we're going to go into our brackets and we're going to just start changing a few things. Right now, if we were going to do it the simple way, we could put in the word font in here, in this section here, about there. You could put the word font and start changing things there. But I don't want to do that. I want to do it sort of as the cascading style sheet, so that when one thing changes, everything changes. So underneath where we have the heading here, so we've opened the heading there, we've closed the heading there, we've got H1 as the size of that heading. Underneath that, we're going to put in a new spot here, and we're going to put in style. So let's get started with this. And remember, brackets will automatically help you out with a lot of this stuff. So I'm putting in style here, and this is where we're sort of starting our style sheet. So it closes the brackets. I'm going to drop that down a few lines. Now, the first thing I want to do is we want to just change one or two things, and I can show you as we go along. Now, we're in this section down here. We're in a section called form. So once you go into that form, all of this is in that form area. So let's change some of that form section in there. So what I can do is I can write form. So in the form area, dot, and I want to change the questions. So I'm going to write question. And then I'm going to start making a few changes in this area. Now, to do that, I need some curly brackets, which on the European keyboard is Shift, Alt, and then the square brackets, and that'll give me two sets of curly brackets. Drop a couple of lines down, and let's just change something simple to start with. Let's just change font size, font dash size. So I write the word font size. As you'll see with brackets, it comes up to help me. So I'm going to choose font size, puts a colon in, I'm going to write large. And then I'm going to put a semicolon to end, and that should change the font size, right? Now, one of the things that I want to do before I do that is, because I've put in here question, I need to somehow say in this form section, what is question? You know, what is it that's going to change the font size, right? So let's just have a quick look now. If I save it as it is, Command S, go back to the website and hit refresh, nothing's happened, there's been no change. So I have to tell it where the question. So in this section here that says form, you've got action method. I'm also going to put in here class. And in that class section, I'm going to say, let's use question. So it's going to refer back to my style for question up here, and it's going to then apply that style to all of the questions that are here, right? So that's, in theory, that's what should work. So let's have a quick look. Let's save that, Command S, question, font size large, go back here, hit refresh, and you'll see straight away all of my fonts just got a little bit bigger. All right, it didn't make a big difference, but it made a little bit of a difference, right? So that kind of works. So let's try something else to add in here. Let's change font color. Remember, you spell color. Let's do font color. Font dash color. No, it must just be color. Let's just do color. Colon space. Let's make it, I don't know, red. Put a semicolon at the end. So you can see I've gone font size, and I've changed the color to there. So let's save that, and let's see what that does. Go back to here, refresh. And you'll see the fonts have all changed color as well. They're still big, but they're also red as well. Now, we also want to change something else. Well, let's make it a little bit more interesting. Let's put a color behind the font, right? So let's go background color. Let's choose background color. Let's choose aqua. So, for example, that'll do. Command S. Go back to here, refresh. There we go, we've got aqua. Now, what happens if I want to change the entire background? I don't want to just change that, I want to change the whole background. Now, the whole background isn't going to be covered in just this form section. The whole background is actually covered in the body section. So in our style sheets up here, what we could actually do is, we've got form there. Let's do another one. Let's just call this one body. Right, and in body, we're going to do our curly brackets again, Shift, Alt, square brackets for the Italian keyboard. Let's do background color. Background color, colon, and let's do the whole background color as, I don't know, dark blue or just blue. Now you can put in here a hexadecimal value if you've got one from Photoshop or whatever color you know you want to use. You could put in there. For the purpose of this, I'm just going to do blue. Now, so what happens now is this section of our style sheet that says body is styling every single thing that says body. Now, because I'm just doing body in general, I haven't put the dot question or all that sort of stuff. I'm just doing body in general. Everything in that body section will change except the stuff that's in form, because form's also in there as well, right? So the stuff that's in body would change. So let's go and have a look at here, refresh, and you can see the background has changed to the blue because that's what the style sheet has told it to do. Now, what happens if you want to do a background image? All right, so everyone always asks me this, so let's do background image. Let's find background image there. So now this time the background image comes up, it says background image colon, and then it asks you what to get. We're going to click on URL because we're going to place the image in the htdocs folder that we've been setting up earlier, and then we can put in there whatever we want. Now I've already pre-made one called nick.jpg in that folder. See, once you go to the URL, it looks for everything that's in that folder that's already there in our htdocs folder. So in this folder, I know nick.jpg's there, and it's like a black splash of paint. So that's what we're going to use. Make sure we put the semicolon at the end. Make sure you save your file, go back here and let's test it. And there it is, there's the black splash of paint that I sort of put in the background. Now you can put whatever you like, and because we're doing soccer, you probably go onto the internet, find a background of soccer, and we can put that in. So I've got one here that's called grass.jpg. Okay, I've got it down in the bottom right hand corner, so I'm just going to move that into my htdocs folder. Grass.jpg, drop it in there, close that, come back to here, change the nick to grass.jpg, Command S, and then let's go back over to here, refresh. And that's probably more appropriate for a soccer website as a grass background. And now that we've got this, we don't need this blue section here, so I could go into here and just delete that background color from behind the questions and hit save, and now when we refresh that'll be gone and we've got the background. The red looks terrible, so you're going to go through and make a few changes, right? So you're just going to go through, let's go with let's go back to black, that'll do, and refresh, bang. Now with these key terms here, right, obviously a lot of people are going to go and use a website builder and they can do a lot of these changes with the website builder and so on and so forth. It's better if you learn from scratch how to do it yourself. It's better if you know how to actually make the changes to the code, because then if you make the changes to the code, you can even get the files from the website builders and manipulate them and change them to do the way you want. Now there's a lot of different commands you can use in here. You can justify the things right and left and centered, and you can change the sizes from large to small to extra large to whatever size. You can also do bold. You can make the fonts bold, so even if they're large, they can be large and bold. Like we did with the H1, the heading size, you can change the sizes. We can place the pictures, we can put picture boxes in, we can do all those sorts of things. For the purpose of doing this website, this video is just to show you how to start changing some of these styles, okay? Now, the other thing that we could do is we could change some of these actual, see this pull down menu, we could change this as well, right? We don't have to limit ourselves to white boxes and those sorts of things. So, a couple of things we could do. If we're doing a, say this one, like this one here, it says, please enter your first name. We can put in here what's called a placeholder. So if we go in here and we write place, and comes up, placeholder equals, inverted commas, and we want them to enter their first name. So let's put in here, first name. Okay, so let's go and do the same thing for this one. Please enter the player's last name. Right, so in there, let's put placeholder. And let's put inverted commas last name. In fact, let's make it a little bit different just to so you can see how it works. Let's put surname. All right, so let's get their surname. Okay, so that's one thing that we can do. We can put some placeholders in. I'll show you how that works in just a second. what else could we do? We could actually change the color of these select buttons, right? So in this section here, you can see we're using select, and the select you then get to choose from here. But we're also using select up here for the gender. So we're using two different sections of got select. So if we go into our style sheets and we create a new one called select, it'll change both of them, right? And that's the beauty of style sheets. You only have to make the changes once, and it can change all of your different areas that are called select. You could potentially change all of them. So let's go in here and let's change the background color of the select thing. So let's go background color and let's change it to some sort of green. All right, so let's make it the dark green. Okay, and then we put our semicolon. Get this off. Right, let's hit save. Now let's go and have a look at our website. Now, the first thing I want to show you, placeholders. First name has come inside the box. Surname has come inside the box, so the person knows to type in there. And you'll see our pull down backgrounds have changed color. When you click on them, they've gone back to the other way, so we have to change that as well. But for this stage, you can see I've changed my pull down colors to a different color to start with. So all of these things are done in your style sheet. So you're setting up your style sheet here, and this is called a cascading style sheet, because if you make one change here, that change will go down and affect all of these different areas. I want you to go through and change your website and make it look better than just a simple, boring, plain black and white page, and we'll continue on from here in the next video.